What up, YouTube? It's your boy Rodney here, back with another part of the car series. We officially starting it up again. We starting with preschool, chronologically moving all the way up. This one might be a shorter story just because preschool, you can't really do a lot of things as a kid under supervision. So we'll just get a little backstory. I used to go to this place called ABC Kiddie World back in the day. I've moved from there, obviously, as it's been like 20-something years. But back in the day, there was a little house. It was just a little house that everybody that went in that area went to when they dropped off their kids. And in that area, they just kind of let us do whatever we want. Like, we weren't allowed to go outside in the front yard, obviously, but they did have a very well-developed backyard for the purposes of, running the daycare. So they had some swings, they had a little like shed playhouse, they had merry-go-round, all that stuff. So what happened this particular day was this is what gave me claustrophobia as a kid, and I kind of got over that. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but this kind of is what gave me claustrophobia as a kid. They had one of them Barbie dream houses. I'll see if I can find a picture of it, put that on screen. But they had a Barbie dream house that was an open back, so it didn't have a back side of the house, but the front, it was like, I don't know, like maybe 4 feet tall. I was a kid, so I have no reference for this, but it was probably like 4 feet tall. It had a little door entrance that you were able to open, and it was wide enough to fit a body through, so a child's body. So I thought to myself, hey, this will be a good hiding place. I'm gonna try and spook somebody. So what I did was I opened up the door, I slithered my body in, right, and I sat in there for a little bit, trying to scare the teacher or the caretaker or any other kids that were around. And nobody ever came looking for me, which is kind of messed up in its own. But nobody ever came looking for me, so I was like, you know what, this is whack. Let me go on ahead, get up out of here. But the thing is, when I got in, I lodged my body in such a way that I didn't know how to get myself out. So I ended up trapping myself in that Barbie dream house, and I didn't have enough leverage to like push the house off of the wall, even though it didn't have a back. Like, I couldn't just kick it, and I didn't have enough arm strength to push myself. So I was essentially just trapped in a Barbie dream house coffin, and that shit was not good. I was panicking, I was crying. People didn't know where I was at because it must have been like playtime or something, but I feel like I was stuck in there for like an hour or two or something, because my body cramped up. I was like sore because I was hunched over in like the fetal position, and it's just, I was wailing. I couldn't stop myself from just screaming, trying to have somebody come and find me. But eventually somebody was like, hey, yo, where this dude at? Like, we ain't seen Rodney in a little bit. So they started searching everywhere, obviously upstairs first, out back, couldn't find anything. Then they decided to go into the basement where that house was held, and that's where we had our lunches and everything, which is why we had access to the basement. But they were like, you know what, let's check downstairs first before we start panicking, calling people out, calling his mama and all that. So they went downstairs, heard me crying, sobbing. They moved the Barbie dream house away from the wall so I could go ahead and get up out of there. And I was beside myself that I had so much freedom and I could move, but I was still just crying because what the hell is that? So I was very afraid of tight, close spaces for a long ass time, maybe until like middle school, maybe beginning of high school. And then I just kind of thought to myself, I'm never gonna put myself in a situation where I'm in that position ever again, right? Like, I'm not gonna go cave diving. That's asinine. I'm not gonna go that's really it, cave diving. I'm not gonna go in anywhere that like will restrict me from moving, where I won't have the ability to like get myself out. Like, that's just asinine. What am I doing that for? So I kind of got over the fear, or maybe not get over it is the right word. I kind of repressed it to the point where, man, it doesn't even matter, because I ain't even gonna be in that position ever again in my life. So got over my claustrophobia that way, or repressed it, whatever you want to call it, and now we living good. But that's the story of the Barbie dream house.